2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast, that show about video games, nerd stuff, and two friends catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Michael, aka MC Paperstacks, and with me as always, as usual, most of the time, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derek, aka Full Metal Merc, and I'm back, baby! I have returned. After 10,000 years, I am free to be on this podcast again.
Reunited, and it feels so good. 10,000. So the last 2 weeks were 10,000 years, huh?
10,000 years.
I feel like a lot's happened.
A lot has happened.
You want to catch us up?
So basically what happened was COVID. COVID is what happened. Someone was not being smart, and Nora got COVID, and then my mom got COVID, and then a bunch of Vicky's relatives got COVID, and everybody got COVID. So Nora was out of school for like 2 weeks, so she was chilling, hanging out with me, and I was legit treating her like she had the plague. And it felt terrible. I felt so bad because I wanted to cuddle my baby, but I was like, you know, I gotta make sure I don't get it. Definitely gotta make sure Vicky doesn't get it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So, it really sucked though.
I bet.
It was to the point where Nora was questioning my love for her. She was like, "Daddy, do you like me?"
That's rough.
I said, "Maybe, of course." I'm just trying not to get sick and die.
I told you before, though, she'd be manipulating you. That was real talk?
That was real talk. Sometimes she gets in her feelings real heavy, and you can tell, you look at her, she's like real genuine with it.
Oh,
it's like,
that breaks my heart. In my head I want her to be trying to get a cookie or something. That makes me feel bad.
It had nothing to do with that.
So
she
sad.
Like, hey, bro, do you like me or not?
Circle yes, no, or maybe.
Right.
Piece of paper.
But yeah, crazy thing is she went back to school like Thursday and Friday of this week. And then we get a call from the school talking about, hey, school's going to be closed next week because of COVID. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. But, you know, I can either send her to daycare or she can hang out with me.
Yeah.
Like she had been doing last week. We went to a lot of stores. She's obsessed with going to the store now.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Daddy, can we go to the store? I want to go to the store. Because I would take her like thrifting with me. Yeah. And she's always trying to buy a toy. I'm like, no, we already bought you a toy today. I bought her like 6-7 toys over this week.
Ben went through that phase for a bit, like right before COVID. He noticed that he could get something if he goes with me. And once that became a possibility, he was like, hey, listen.
I'm going to roll with you. Pack my bag.
The Mario plushies up there looking real cool. How about I get like one or two of them?
Right.
Anyways, well, I still got a new baby. It's new. Yeah. It's a baby. He's doing good, though. And,
good.
And other than that, just been watching a lot of movies. I know we got a few shows and movies to talk about. Before we get into that, I wanted to let you know, if you hadn't already noticed, although I think we talked about it before, we recently passed a little baby milestone on YouTube. We got over 100 subs on our podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah, on our way to that plaque.
Yeah, I think, right. I think it's 100% due to the fact that I've just been taking TikTok videos off our TikTok channel and uploading them as YouTube shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, because they only allow 60 seconds rather than the 3-minute limit that TikTok allows.
Right.
So some of our longer form videos I couldn't move over without them being cut off in a weird place. We talked about it before because people on YouTube be mean, but I'm also starting to get a lot of positive comments too. So it's balancing out just a little bit. Overall, it's been, slightly less positive than TikTok, but it's getting us subs, which means more attention to the podcast. So worth it.
Dope.
Yep. Also, we had Dylan on last week to be a guest and also inadvertently, even though we didn't plan on it, covered for you for a bit. I think he pulled his weight. He had big shoes to fill. But yeah, I got to missing our banter back and forth. I started listening to older episodes. We had a lot of really good ones recently.
Yeah.
I listened to a few of them, but in particular, I was listening to Leisure Suit Kratos. Remember that episode?
Yeah, wasn't that like, I feel like that was one of the first ones.
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No, it was very recent.
Shit running together, bro.
It's just, the last 2 years.
The name sounds familiar.
Just COVID's running together. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
No, Leisure Suit Kratos. The reason why that episode was so good, I was listening to it, and I've gotten in the habit of listening to our show specifically to pick out like a title for it. You can tell it's going to be a good show when there are like 10 or 15 candidates for a funny title.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Leisure Suit Kratos had some competition in that episode. If you go back and listen to it, you know what I'm talking about.
I had to check it out.
Also that one and What If Mine.
What If Mine?
There was like a string of episodes where we were talking about What If, but also Malignant, and that was a fun conversation. Still the top comedy of 2021 in my opinion.
Right. I'm gonna rewatch that.
Speaking of which, okay, so we got movies. So
a lot of movies.
I saw The Eternals, and I also watched The Mitchells versus the Machines. Have you seen that on Netflix?
Yeah, very good movie.
Very good. Did you talk about it on the show before?
I feel like I did.
I feel like you did too. I just can't remember.
Yeah, it was really good.
It made a lot of people's like top whatever movie of the year lists.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't caught it yet. I remember seeing the title card. It's just the family in the car and they're all screaming. And I was like, oh, it's one of those animated movies where they're screaming the entire movie. And I mean, it kind of is, but it's also like packed with jokes that land mostly. And it had a really heartfelt message about family, too. Like, I was hitting the feels by surprise. I was like,
yeah, no.
Yeah, it was good.
Especially with the dad.
Yeah.
The daughter.
Oof. Yeah, good stuff. And then I finally watched The Eternals because that dropped on Disney+.
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
Okay, I won't spoil it. I will say I didn't dislike it as much as I thought I did, but that's not saying much because my expectations were rock fucking bottom.
Right.
Like rock bottom. It's not a good film. It just isn't. And I don't know if I can attribute that to the director because, again, Marvel picks good directors, but if the director's vision doesn't magically fall in line with what they had anticipated or planned, they come in and chop things up. And then you either have a situation where the director is like, fuck that, I'm just going to leave. Like, Ant-Man and Edgar Wright. Mm-hmm. Or a situation where they get thrown under the bus and all the bad stuff is blamed on them, like we have with the Eternals. It's just messy. Things are not presented cleanly, thematically. Like, it's all over the place. There's lots of exposition dumps. Things are dragged out. There's not really any stakes set up in the film until I feel like 75%, maybe even 80% in. Mm. That said, the last 20%, I was like, this is... I remember watching most of the movie going, like, I'm glad I didn't decide to watch this with Kristen. And then I caught her up. I was like, here's what happened. I'm going to finish it if you want to stick around. She's like, yeah, I'll watch the last of it with you. And the last of it ended up being kind of exciting. And like the whole final battle sequence, of a Marvel film, as it were. I liked it, actually. Not loved it, but I liked it. I was surprised. I was like, they're sticking the landing a little bit here. Overall, if you know a lot about Celestials or you're into Celestials, it's neat because it kind of dives into that lore, obviously. Yeah. But the plot holes it sets up, some of the retconning, the excuses for them being around during all the past conflicts but not doing anything, felt a little limp. Mm-hmm. But, I expected that. Yeah. Gamer friends, if you get a chance to actually watch the movie, they did a pretty decent spoiler cast on it, covering the ground between a Marvel lover, a Marvel nominal fan, and a Marvel hater. Yeah. 3 people on the cast. They had it covered. So,
oh, wow, that's cool.
There's not a whole lot I could say to break it down more than anybody else has, other than if you have Disney Plus and you want to just play your Switch or hang out on your phone for the first half or more of the movie, you can at least get that one under your belt if you're watching all the others, right?
Now, was it better than The Matrix Resurrections?
Yes and no. I'm going to actually get into that. I'm glad you brought The Matrix up because I wanted to revisit it for a second. I also rewatched Matrix 2 and 3, and
you like them a little more than you remember?
I do. Yeah. Not by contrasting them with the newest Matrix, but just because I'm going in understanding that the direction went differently than I wanted. Mm-hmm. And already knowing that ahead of time, I was able to appreciate the action scenes a little more and just kind of rediscover like the story they were trying to tell. My criticisms of 2 or 3 still stand, in my opinion, but I do appreciate the set pieces and the little stories they told, overall what they were trying to do. It was interesting. A lot more than I could say about the newest movie. However, I appreciate the newest movie a little bit more in hindsight of just watching people break it down because we touched on this a little bit a couple of weeks ago when we talked about it after we saw it. The movie's trash. I'm not taking back anything we said about it, right? But I feel bad because I feel like they were stuck within a rock and a hard place. They didn't want to make the movie, but they didn't want somebody else to make the movie. And so they put all that meta stuff in there, like Warner Brothers is going to make it with or without us. And they put all that, they're like, we don't want to do a Matrix regurgitated, this and that and the other. They took a lot of the iconography, the language that were popularized after the Matrix came out, like red pilling and stuff, kind of took it back from some of the more toxic spaces that use that language or appropriated that language, which I think is partly why they empowered Trinity, partly why they kind of went against the grain, so to speak. Again, not a great movie, but fun to watch when somebody breaks it down. Wisecrack did a really good video on it recently. So I don't know if you watched them. They're like a philosophy YouTube channel.
Did you watch the honest trailer for it?
I think I did. I don't remember much about it though.
I liked it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I know they're gonna get this one.
Yeah. They're gonna go in on it. Yeah, for sure. So also watching the actor that was possessed by Agent Smith in Matrix 2 and 3. Remember how he took over a person that was jacked into the Matrix while they're in the Matrix, and then they used the phone to route out. So the real life human was infected by Agent Smith. Like he was Agent Smith. His personality was. Yeah. That actor acted so much more like Hugo Weaving than like musical bro from the newest movie. Because that was the other thing. I'm like, how is he supposed to be Hugo Weaving? He's acting nothing like him. Is it just hard to act like Hugo Weaving? No, it isn't. Go back and watch Matrix 2 and 3.
And why, I want to know why Hugo Weaving wasn't in the movie.
I mean, I could probably answer that. He's got discerning taste about what he picks up.
True.
He was just like, nah, I'm good.
Straight, bro.
Yeah. Again, no shade against Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves. I mean, I think enough of them, they wanted to be in it so that way they wouldn't. I don't know. I just think they want to take ownership over those characters. It's a big part of a lot of their lives. So
yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is complicated, and I'm not mad at anybody involved other than like Warner Brothers. Fuck Warner Brothers. But like, you know what I mean? It's not like I felt like I wasted my time watching it because we laughed about it afterwards. And again, it's interesting to hear different people's takes on it and the meta route they went with it. It's just not a good film. If you're going to watch a good action film or a good film, that's not what you're going to get with the newest Matrix. You're going to be just up on the latest in pop culture discussion is what you're going to be doing, basically.
Sure.
So, okay. We're chewing through it. Book of Boba Fett. Have you been keeping up with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You made a face.
Oh, no. It wasn't no face.
No face?
I was looking at the notes. I was like, oh, yeah.
Of course. Yeah, okay.
Of course.
Just making sure. What'd you think about we're 3 episodes in.
I mean, okay, so I did make a face. I mean, I like the show. Don't get me wrong. I like the show, but I don't know. It's missing that spark. And it's hard not to compare it to The Mandalorian because, like, The Mandalorian is The Mandalorian. It was great. Like, I just heard so many people like, we got Baby Yoda, like, immediately. You know what I mean? And we had something to, like, grab onto, and the story was moving forward. With Boba Fett, it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm Boba Fett. I'm here. I'm the boss now. But are you, though?
I'm the daimyo.
Yeah, the daimyo.
Daimyo. Yeah. Whatever. I don't give a shit. But I really liked episode 2. I liked the whole thing revolving him and the Tusken Raiders and the train. That was really cool. And I'm interested to see where the story goes. It's ebb and flowing for me, but I agree with you. I think I said it last week when I was talking to Dylan about it. It's not grabbing me in the same way that The Mandalorian is. But I'm not not liking it. I enjoy myself while I'm watching it. It was funny when I was watching the 3rd episode. I was like, Danny Trejo. Okay, that's a little weird. And then I was watching the Vespa bike race or the chase through the city, and I was like, this is a little goofy. The way this is shot. I feel like I recognize this. It's a little Spy Kids. And at the end of the episode, it was like directed by Robert Rodriguez. I was like, oh shit, everything makes sense now.
As soon as I saw all those different color bikes, I was like, they're fucking Power Rangers.
A lot of people have made that comparison. Yeah.
It's just so funny.
I don't mind it. I think the Vespas are fine.
Well, it doesn't. I don't think they fit. the clothes they wear, the Vespas, I don't think it fits.
You know, you want
on
little twinks
Tatooine
hanging around working for... Well, the thing is, when I saw that they had the bikes, the only thing I thought was, how can they afford those flashy, obviously in-world expensive bikes when they can't even afford to buy overpriced water? Right. But I guess they were stealing it more as a protest. But still, like, they're supposed to be like these street punks. They obviously don't have a ton of money. Where do they get these bikes at?
Yeah. I do like that he got a squad now.
Yeah, he's got a squad.
Because he was just like, 4 people squad up.
Yeah.
I'm the boss now.
He's got 2 pig men who would totally get winded chasing after anybody. He's got his assassin lady, but she can only do so much.
I have such a crush on her.
He's got squad,
that's why I keep watching the show.
Assassin lady, pig dudes. Somehow, the Wookiee gets past all of them, goes straight to his little deprivation chamber. Listen, if
it actually made me gasp. I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah, it was a little scary. But if I'm taking a deprivation nap, if I am in the chamber and I can't hear or see, you need to be in the room,
right?
Reading a book or hanging out. You can't just be outside the room, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Because people out here trying to kill me. I literally was like, "What you gonna do, Huts?" And they're like, "Sleep with one eye open, bitch." And then I closed both my eyes. That's his fault, really.
Yeah.
What's he doing? He ain't gonna be the daimyo for long, just laying around. He don't even put his back to the corner when he eats his food. He just be in the middle of the cafeteria, not paying attention.
I mean, you already know that that Wookiee's coming back to help. He's gonna be in the squad.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
The way he ran off, though, he was like,
"Oh." Yeah, he was like, "Okay." He did run off like, "My mama gave me that chain, man."
It's like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Oh man, oh, so good.
I do like how they're going into, like, I don't know, just different facets of different races of characters and even the monsters. Like, they gave the Rancor more than just it's a bloodthirsty monster and it's gonna eat you. It's like, no, like, it'll imprint on you and it's like a pet. And like Double Toasted pointed out, there's like, that's why that dude, the Rancor master, was crying in Return of the Jedi when it died, because like that was his pet, that was his dog.
That's a good catch.
And he died.
I thought it was more of like just an inject a humor moment.
Yeah,
but no,
and it very well could have been at the time, but they've retconned it to be have some meaning.
No, I love it.
So
I love it.
I do like how they're giving the Tusken Raiders some backstory, even though they're dead now. Not all of them, but just that.
Yeah, no, I mean it was it's giving me a lot of context for the other Star Wars films, and I like that they're diving into the lore and they're making it interesting. So no, the show isn't a wash, and like you said, it's hard not to compare it to The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, I mean, by comparison, is just that much more excellent.
Fire.
Love Mandalorian, but I like the Book of Boba Fett too. And again, I ain't paying anything extra. They just throwing it on there like Star Wars Visions and everything else.
I like that theme music too.
Boba Fett, yeah.
So.
Do that all day. That's me though. That's me this week. That's me this week. What do you got? You had a chance to watch Peacemaker, right?
Yes. Oh my god, I fucking love it.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Okay. But how do they redeem, like, is John Cena, like, just as terrible as he was in Suicide Squad, or they redeem him a little bit? And by terrible, I mean, like, the character being a fucking asshole, not, like, him being bad at playing the character.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's still an asshole, but more in, like, a playful, like, ditzy way. Like,
I kind of don't like that.
I don't know, I like, when you watch the show and you meet a certain character, and you're like, okay, now I see why he acts like this, because it makes so much sense as to why he's such a douchebag. I don't know, man. I like John Cena as Peacemaker. Like,
I'm not saying I don't. It's just he was so irredeemably cruel towards the end of Suicide Squad. Spoilers for Suicide Squad, I guess, but I don't want to get into it too much. The turn that they had that character do in that movie, giving him his own show versus some of the other characters they introduced, I was like, why him? Other than the star power of John Cena, I guess.
Yeah, they poke fun at his character a lot though in this show.
I mean, they poke fun at his character a lot in Suicide Squad. They didn't really.
Yeah, but in this show, it's like it's almost sad. Like there's a scene. It's in the very beginning of the show when he's in the hospital. He's talking to the janitor, and the janitor's like, "Oh, you're that racist superhero." And then there's a whole bit about how he kills like black people disproportionately to white people, and he's like, fine, I'll kill more white people in the future.
Wow.
And I'll trust them less in the future, and I'll kill more white people. He's like, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. So like, that's it. That's all I asked for.
You got a little bit of unconscious bias training
exactly.
from the janitor in the hospital. Cute.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe Peacemaker may be making amends. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll have to see. I'm interested in checking it out.
Also, it just came out yesterday. A hard R.
What's that? It's a
hard R.
I figured it would be.
Yeah. I was like, God damn, this is a
hard
R.
We need more of these.
Shit.
I want Blade to be rated R. I don't think it's gonna be. But I want more MCU movies to be rated R. That'd be great. So.
Yeah. I don't even think we have one.
I know. I mean, not in the MCU. I mean, we got Logan and we got Marvel movies that are R's, but not necessarily. Yeah. So
I think Deadpool 3 is going to be.
You think?
I think that's what they said. But obviously, if he's in another movie, like they gotta tone him down. If he's like crossing over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which they've done that before. That's fine. It's whatever. I'm okay with that. That's whatever.
Yeah, but I say give Peacemaker a watch. It's very entertaining.
Okay. We'll do. All right. Well, let's get into what we've been playing this week or the past 2 weeks for you. So what you been getting into?
Pretty much all I've been playing is Yakuza Like a Dragon. And oh my goodness, it is
still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. I haven't gotten a chance to play it a lot this week, but I mean, where do I start? It's not.
How many hours are you in?
About 30.
Okay, so decent way through.
Yeah, and I'm like halfway through the game.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's gonna take me another 30. I kind of hope not, but I've been doing a lot of the side stuff, which I tend to steer away from in a Yakuza game. But the fact that this is an RPG, and more so than that, a turn-based RPG, it incentivizes me to do the extra stuff. So there's like a summoning system where the more side quests, certain side quests may grant you a new summon that you can do. It's a service called Poundmates.
Yeah, I remember that.
and he just calls up the service, calls up who he wants to summon. He's like, "It's time to phone a friend. I summon you."
Sounds like a dating app.
It does. Poundmates.
Like a local.
They know what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, like if you're confused by the purpose of Tinder, Poundmates will remove all subtlety or doubt from your mind about what it's for.
Yeah, and it's very creative. The main character he loves. Have I talked about Like a Dragon on the show yet?
Yeah, you have.
Okay,
you've been doing this a lot lately. It is running together.
Yeah, well,
because
we talked about it offline. And
yeah,
but like, remember we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, no, we have talked about Yakuza Like a Dragon once. It was a couple weeks ago, I think, when you first started playing.
Okay, well, here's some extra stuff.
Okay.
That's new. So there's a job system. That's a very old school RPG thing. You have to go to the staffing agency to change your job, which I just think is fucking clever as hell. I wish that I could do it on the fly, but you gotta go to the staffing agency, and I
either have deja vu or you are like word for word repeating what you said 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, offline.
I'm pretty sure.
No. We talked about this offline. I talked to you for like 20 minutes.
Okay,
and like 10 of those minutes was Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I was on my way to this replay. I was in the car. I remember.
Dang, now it's me taking an offline conversation with the show.
Yeah, it's just really clever, and I think it's still on Game Pass. I'm playing it on PS5 right now, but
I believe it is still on Game Pass. They removed Kiwami's, I think.
Yeah, that
Game
sucks
Pass.
for people who didn't get to play those, but
I mean, they're not that expensive, to be honest. Digitally.
Oh yeah, digitally. Yeah.
I mean, again, if you're playing on Game Pass, you clearly don't care about having physically. So yeah, digitally they're cheap.
But yeah, I can't get my thoughts really straight on it, man. But I just know that I'm really enjoying the game, and I hope to finish it sometime soon because February is packed with games.
It is.
It's packed.
It really is.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab Horizon as soon as it comes out.
Okay.
Because I don't want any spoilers. But
I got my sights on Arceus right now, but I think I might wait a day or two after it launches, or at least a day or two around the launch window to get enough reviews to come in and know if it's like a total bomb or not. Because I don't trust Nintendo as much as I used to. They've been really missing lately. Hopefully it's more of a Capcom downturn than a Konami downturn, Like they're like, well, let's reorient this ship. We're messing up, like Capcom did. But Nintendo lately, to me, they're releasing a lot of games unfinished and then patching in things later, often free, but still, it's not a good sign, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the quality is dipping. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, I'm such a mark for that game. I've been enjoying it, but I can recognize that it is lazy and half-assed in regards to how a remake should go. I can recognize and admit that. So, okay. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Looking forward to hearing more about it, and I'm glad that it's still so fun and engaging 30 hours in. That's actually really encouraging.
It's because they just keep gradually adding more systems to the game instead of just being like, here's everything.
Mm-hmm.
But not in a bad way like Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, more
it's
in
like you're 50 hours in and it's like, all right, here's a new mechanic. No! What are you doing?
Final Fantasy 13 catches a lot of flack for a lot of different reasons. But I also liked, maybe it could have gone a little faster, but I liked how he added on its systems too.
Yeah, I like Final Fantasy 13. I don't know what everybody's problem is. Like Lightning, she's kind of, but
I think that's what it was. I didn't care too much. I didn't care about the story really at all. It didn't even really click with me until you get to that open world part towards the end.
Yeah, I just wanted to grab some Eidolons.
Yeah.
And some of them.
Yeah.
But, look, I just want to go on a tangent real quick.
Tangent away, my friend.
Yeah, people were complaining about 13. Oh, it's just a corridor. But the same people will praise 10, which was the exact same thing. It's literally like they put a tracer over Final Fantasy 10 and was like, okay, this is 13 now. We're going to throw different characters in there. Because 10 is literally just a corridor. You're going to the next area, going to the next area. And then you finally get to this big open area, the Calmlands, or what is it in 13?
Oh, hell. Don't ask me. I don't remember anymore.
It's not Cocoon. Maybe it's Cocoon. I don't fucking know. The place where the Adamantoids be running around.
I think it says a lot that you remember the name of the area in Final Fantasy X, a game that came out a lot longer ago, and you don't remember the name of the area in Final Fantasy 13.
This is true. But I've played Final Fantasy X like 18 fucking times. So
I think that also says a lot.
I love that.
How many times you go back and replay Final Fantasy 13?
I haven't. But I should.
I guess that says a lot as well. Maybe the reason why people didn't notice the hallway in Final Fantasy X, and this is just me speculating based off, my personal experience, is the story just wasn't good in 13. Like, think about it. If you're reading a really good book, you're not going to notice your surroundings so much, But with 13, you get bored immediately and look up and go, why are we in this hallway?
Right. Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying, man. But I agree with you. Like, that is a criticism for people who haven't thought long enough to really hone in their real criticism, or it's a nitpick in a sea of legitimate criticisms. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. Just because it's a hallway doesn't necessarily make it a bad game. But again, the expectation set, because remember, that was the follow-up to 12. 12 was anything but a fucking hallway, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe they just felt like it was a step back at that point. I don't know.
Maybe. But 12 was also like an MMO.
And there was no towns. To me, RPG towns
there
are
were no
extremely...
towns.
Like, speaking of tangents, let's go on it, man. Let's go for a
Do
ride.
it.
RPG towns are extremely important. It's where you get side quests. It's where you break up the gameplay loop. It's where you can find mini games and talk to the people in town and get hints about finding treasure, or, it's where they get the chance to actually show you what else they can do in that vertical slice aside from battles. But that's what Final Fantasy 13 was. It was hallways, battles, shitty story, hallways, battles. That was your gameplay loop for the longest.
The funny thing about it, though, is that the story justifies them not being in towns. Yeah. Because they're l'Cie. And nobody wants l'Cie fucking around. You're like, you're l'Cie, get the fuck away from me.
You were in a town in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and you were a fugitive in that as well. They put a hoodie on that big titty sword girl, and they just went in. So, I'm just saying.
Hey. We can go back and forth.
That game was so horny, dude. We've talked about it on the show before, but Xenoblade Chronicles
you haven't beaten it, have you?
No.
Okay.
I did get further.
It's so good, though. Like, by the end of it, it's like really good.
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
I liked it. I like that game, man.
I'm not saying it's not. I just get bored. I mean, I did get a lot further the last time I tried. I don't know how to explain it.
What they need to do is update the battle system for that game, because it's fucking boring.
Yeah. That's what it is, isn't it? The battle system's boring as shit.
It's just like, it's literally like they auto do everything and you get to make an input every once in a while.
Yeah. And I still don't even quite, after going through the beginning 10 hours or more. I think last time I got maybe 20 hours in. I still don't quite understand what the hell I was doing.
Oh, I've said this before. It took me like 50 fucking hours to fully understand what was going on in the game.
It's just too long.
I was like, oh, that's how you do a burst art.
I think it's a good game if you don't have access to other video games.
It helps that you can carry it around with you on the go, though.
I guess. Because even then, a game that complicated, like, to me, on the go, I want something that I don't have to, like, pull out a fucking...
Thesaurus.
Yeah, exactly. A thesaurus and a calculus book along with it. Some fucking Cliff's Notes. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just do... scrap this podcast and do a full RPG podcast.
We probably should.
Talk about RPGs all day.
We're 40 minutes in, and I mean, we talk about video games a lot, but not like in the structure of our usual show. It's going to be a long one, I feel like. We got a lot of news this week I got to cover. Fuck.
All right, we'll get through it.
Let me get into the games I've been playing. Here we go.
Okay.
So I played a lot of Game Pass stuff. I played Embr, EMBR. It is a little cutesy kind of like firefighting game. It's 3D. It looks like it might even have a VR version just because you can see your hands in front of you. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in and you need to get all of the people that are trapped in a burning building out. You don't necessarily have to put out the fire, but you can put out fire that's between you and a person, obviously, or put a person out if they're on fire.
Yeah.
If you find, like, you can find cash or safes, solve a little quick puzzle to get cash and put it in the safe area with the people. And then you'll make money for saving people, completing, 100% completing, maybe getting all the people and finding money. And then you can use money to buy better tools for fighting fires, basically. So that's the gameplay loop. And it's fun. It's something you can pick up and play for a few levels and enjoy. It's not anything mind-blowing. I'm not, like, recommending people really go out and play it unless you're just really interested in firefighting and rescuing people. Mm-hmm. It's goofy. Right. So I was listening to Gamer Friends' most recent episode. They dropped their like top games of 2021, and they both really liked this game called Genesis Noir. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about that?
Yeah.
I think it was one of their top indie games, and the other person was like one of their top 3 of the whole year. And I was like, wow, that's high praise.
High praise from a gamer friend.
I went to check it out, and it's something. It's one of those indie games that's more of like an experience, like Hohokum or Flower. It's
Flower.
What's funny is the name is really apt. It's called Genesis Noir. It's about the creation of the universe, like the Big Bang, and like the intrigue of cosmos, but it's framed as a detective noir story.
Oh.
It's really wild and trippy. So you start off with this guy. He's on the street. Jazz is playing. He's selling watches to people. Somebody steals a watch. He runs after him. He trips over some clothes a woman's throwing out of her apartment. And then it goes to some cosmic stuff. And then you're in the apartment and a guy shoots at her. And then you go into the blast because it's all frozen. And it's like the Big Bang. And then you're collecting these seeds and kind of navigating this area. And it's very stylized. The graphics are very beautiful. And again, the soundtrack is kind of entrancing. It's a game you want to take a spicy gummy and just relax and put in some headphones and play.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I noticed that was really interesting, and this is just based on my knowledge of the hosts of Gamer Friends, Big Nakruma is really into detective stories, and Audio Nerd 64 loves space bullshit.
Right.
And I thought it was really cute that this game marries the two of those concepts.
Aww.
Yeah. The way that they, care about each other. And I was just like, of course you guys love this game. It's the best parts of both of you. Mm-hmm. It was like really sweet when that clicked in my head. Now, as far as recommending it, I mean, it's just a very specific mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. You can try it out. It's low stakes to try it out. I don't know if even if I had played it and finished it, if it would have broken my personal top 5. But it is very unique. It's very beautiful. And like I said, it's a bit of an experience. So I don't know how long it is. I played it for, I think, like the first section or whatever, because I got like an achievement for it or whatever. And it says like, the opening or whatever. So I played it for maybe a couple hours. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
So I also played, they mentioned this one too, Narita Boy, which is a side-scrolling platformer that's like very 80s retro.
Yeah.
Down to like the graphics being kind of fuzzy and out of focus, like an old VHS tape, and like you being in like a Tron style universe. It's very wordy in the beginning. There's a lot of like talking, and they're not really saying anything that makes sense to me. It was kind of slow to start and a little bit boring, and I was kind of powering through it like, I'm not playing Mass Effect as I'm playing this. Please get interesting. And it didn't. And I played it for about an hour. So I'm not saying it's bad. I may go back and try to play more because I think Big Nick really liked it. But I wasn't finding the merit in it other than the art style. The art style is like really, like the animation and the art style are really beautiful and catchy. Like I'm into that. And again, it had this whole kind of Tron 80s aesthetic and vibe that I thought was really good. And not like the cheesy Far Cry Blood Dragon way, but like it just felt more genuine and legit, if that makes any kind of sense. And the way that an indie game can do that type of style.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I was into the style of it, but it just wasn't gripping me on the gameplay side. I hadn't got any weapons yet, but I can tell there's going to be combat. It was mostly dodging hazards and just barreling through like, okay, what's the gameplay loop here, fellas? What are we doing? What's going on? I played a lot of Kill It With Fire, thanks to Ben. He loves watching me kill spiders. And I blew up a gas station today on the side of a convenience store trying to destroy spiders.
I love that part.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. I figured I'd just play a couple levels just to try it out, but I may end up finishing it like you did. I don't know. So I just find that really funny.
I think to truly finish it, you have to do those gauntlets.
Which I do.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't skipped a gauntlet yet.
Okay, you'll probably see what actually happens at the end.
Oh, okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
If I ever actually do finish it. So I didn't play a whole lot of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I talked about it a little bit last week. But I wanted to make a correction because I basically made it seem like as soon as you beat Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, like you finish the Elite Four, that the international dex immediately opens up. And it's not immediate. You have to finish the original Pokédex, the 151 of what's accessible in the main game. But you don't have to get one of each, you just have to see them. So one of the sprite Pokemon, the legendaries that are like, two of them are like at the lake, you can just find them, but then one kind of leaves. But when you see it and it leaves at the end of the game, like that counts as seeing it. So you don't have to catch it.
Okay.
Even though they make it really easy to find. Same thing if you're playing, Brilliant Diamond, you obviously can't get a Palkia, but you can go to a certain point in the game, they'll show you a picture and it counts as your Pokédex entry. Oh, okay. So getting 151 seen is a lot easier than it sounds. I did that first, and that's when things really opened up, and I got access to all the other Pokemon. So I wanted to make mention of that, and it's fun. I actually was kind of diligently catching Pokemon and trying to fill out more of the international decks that they have in that game, and I didn't think I'd care that much to do it, but again, the only thing that's really pulled me away recently has been Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm literally in the end game, like the final confrontation with Sovereign and Saren. Yeah. No, I've been playing it pretty hardcore, like, because I get stuck in one place a lot with my newborn. I'll be feeding him or he'll be sleeping. I put him on a boppy and just start playing Mass Effect and been getting into it. So I was going to finish the first game and then go back as a Renegade and then go back and play it again as a Paragon. But I saw that there's an achievement for getting Insanity in all three games without stopping. And I don't know if that means don't change the difficulty as you go through 1, 2, and 3 altogether. I have to research that. But I figured what I would do is just Renegade 1, 2, 3 in order and then go back in Paragon on Insanity mode. 1, 2, 3 in order.
That's dedication.
Yeah. Although I don't think I'm going to make it because that's a lot of time to commit to that game. And there's so many games coming out in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So
too many.
Yeah. It may be something I have to put on pause. But that said, Mass Effect's amazing. It always has been. Just playing it reminded me like, man, this game is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
The first time I played it, I was like, what is happening?
I was like, is this the Star Wars?
Right. This is better than the Star Wars.
It really was. That feeling I got when Joker in the Normandy takes down Sovereign at the end of Mass Effect 1, I was just like, this is fucking awesome. This is amazing. I'm getting those vibes now, kind of being back in that same part again. And yeah, I just really love the game, the vibe and the design and everything. And of course, they refine it in 2 and 3 was a little bit of a letdown. I think more story-wise than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man, Mass Effect 1 and 2, just perfect, solid games. The Mako still sucks.
Yeah.
Driving that thing around. They added a little boost to it that I don't remember having in the original game, but maybe I did. I don't know. That kind of helps get you up over all those mountains you have to climb that you have to Skyrim over to get to the elements you want to mine.
Right.
But, yeah, no, it's still at parts. I was like, why did they do this?
Just remove this part.
Yeah, exactly. That said, I still love it. So that's the games I played this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, looks like it's time for some gaming news.
Hear it, gaming news.
Ooh.
No, stop that. Get down. All right, gaming news. So I got this thing broken up because we got Sony news, we got Microsoft news, we got Nintendo news. We'll start with the Sony stuff. Recently, a new patent from Sony has surfaced online. Backward compatibility through use of spoof clock and fine grain frequency. I don't know what the fuck that means. But people are speculating it's basically PlayStation working on backwards compatibility tech, presumably to unlock legacy PlayStation consoles on the PS5, maybe the PS4. I don't think it's that, but that's what people are saying. They think it just means maybe we can play PS1, PS2 games on PS5. I think kind of that, but I think what they're really doing is gearing up for that version of Game Pass we were talking about. I think it was a codename Spartacus or something like that. Because there's also a State of Play that's rumored for February, and people are saying we're probably going to get more PSVR 2 news. And I'm thinking maybe they'll drop some info on Spartacus. Because also, they've been pulling PS Now gift cards. Like, they phased them out in America and then recently in the UK. You're gearing up. I think it's going to they're going to drop some stuff pretty soon in the coming months. So
please don't be bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, patents don't usually mean anything on their own because people get patents all the time and do nothing with them. But that combined with all these other rumors and news, Sony's making some moves. They're moving chess pieces around on the board, so to speak. So, and again, we've talked about it before. If they really go in on their back catalog, they could crush Xbox with the offering that they could put forth.
For sure.
For the PS2 and PS1 library, PS3, if they can swing it. But I understand that may be a little bit more difficult just given the tech of that particular console.
Well, here's the thing. Could they crush them, though? Because I'm just got to think, like, how many people really care about the older generations of PlayStation now? It's like
a lot of older gamers. So it's true. It's older gamers. But older gamers have the fatter wallets. So.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm going to love that shit.
I'm gonna love it too. But you're right. Are they a day late and $1 short? Right. Yeah. Did Game Pass already get enough of an install base and move enough people over where they're not going to want to have both, or if they're going to choose one or the other, they're just going to stick with Xbox? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that thanks to Game Pass, I've had to buy a lot less games and still been able to have my game play schedule just filled up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had a subscription to Sony and to Xbox, then I probably wouldn't be purchasing anything for a while. It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, I never thought you could get me to go digital. Apparently you can if you do it right. So, speaking of PlayStation and Xbox, all Xbox One console production was discontinued in 2020, which Xbox called an audible on. They're like, we're going to stop making Xbox Ones. We're just going to support the Series X and the Series XS.
Which makes sense.
Moving forward, yeah, it makes sense. Meanwhile, the PlayStation, because of the shortage of PS5s, are going to continue to make more PS4s. In fact, they're going to make more than usual to account for the lack of PS5s. Which is interesting because I feel like there's still a shortage of Series X and Series S's, or maybe just Series X's, right?
Yeah, there's shortage of X's. S's are everywhere.
S's are everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, so I see kind of where Xbox is coming from by going, let's just go all in with our resources on the newer systems. But I also see kind of where Sony's coming from too. I think eventually Sony will obviously stop making PS4s, but I mean, there's a lot of speculation that this shortage isn't going to end anytime soon, and things are kind of up in the air. So who knows? Good news for Hitman fans. Hitman Trilogy, so the 3 recent Hitman games are all going to be dropping on January 20th, and they release same day on Game Pass.
That's dope.
Yep. So
like
get ready
that.
to play a little bit of Hitman. I hear they're really fun to fuck around in,
to.
especially 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying that out because I haven't had a chance to play the newer ones myself.
Okay.
Continuing Xbox stuff, in a recent interview with the New York Times, and you may or may not have heard about this, Xbox Executive VP Phil Spencer, love to hear about what he has to say because it's always some interesting stuff, whether you agree with it or not. He was asked about the connection between gaming and the stark polarization of American politics. Now, I first heard about this. Our friend Jed Schaefer from Gamer Parent Strategy Guide, he's been putting up some YouTube shorts, and the way he phrased it initially kind of turned me off. He had said that Phil Spencer basically came out and said Xbox is not political. And he was like, I'm tired of everybody making everything political, which mirrors the phrasing from one of our other recent guests that we had to kind of push back on because everything kind of is political. But it's not really what Jed meant. I think the wording is kind of leaning towards that. So he and I had a back and forth online, and I went to check out the story myself, and I actually kind of agree with what Phil was going for here. So Xbox Live's new standards are trying to define acceptable trash talk. Spencer's quote is saying, "We're not there to allow just any conversation to happen on our platform. It's very difficult to come to Xbox Live and say, okay, I want to go create a political party on the platform. It's just set up for community around interactive entertainment and the games that run on our platform." He reiterated that Microsoft sees Xbox Live not as a free speech platform, but one built on interactive entertainment where controversy and confrontation-driven user engagement, those are the key words there, would be a death strategy for their business. So I think what he's saying is Facebook and Twitter, they have AI that drives engagement based on confrontation, right? People arguing and yelling at each other and that whole kind of reductive owning each other, communicating via memes. He doesn't want that for Xbox. He wants to keep that out of there.
Yeah,
so
him
saying that, I think that's fine. I don't think that's not making things political or making them not political. I think it's just, if you're going to have discourse, it should be around the games or the community around gaming. And if you want to talk politics or anything else, that's fine, but not to make it this like reductive shouting match between the left and right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what he was going for. Now, again, the cynic in me does still kind of feel like it may be a slight dog whistle to more toxic gamers to go, hey, we're not political. You know, like a lot of companies try to say when they make a game about war, and they're like, oh, this game about the war that recently happened isn't political. It's just, fuck off. But I think for a lot of people, they're kind of tired. I mean, I've talked about it. I'm tired, to be honest. And you find your refuge where you can get it. And gaming is a refuge for a lot of people. So I understand the mindset of wanting to get away from that if you can. That said, I have to admit my position. Being able to get away from quote unquote political things is a privilege that I can partake in. And I think a lot of people need to recognize that depending on who you are, where you're from, what you look like, the world may or may not let you forget.
True.
That is my thoughts on that. Now, he was also asked about Activision Blizzard. And again, this is where the cynic in me comes back because don't you know it, man. So they pressed specifics on what Phil Spencer meant on November 19th when he made a statement about Activision Blizzard, where he was evaluating all aspects of their relationship with the company. He was responding, of course, to additional reports about the publisher facing allegations of sexual harassment, discrimination. We've covered it a few times in regards to their workplace abuses. He said, and I quote, "I don't think my job is out there to punish other companies." And so the interviewer pushed back. Why can't Xbox just send Activision a message such as, we don't want to do business with you unless you clean up? And Spencer said that it's obviously not our position to judge who the CEOs are, and that we don't want to engage with a partner at a company level and endorse or condemn any specific officers within a company. It's kind of a cowardly way to say, oh, I don't want to get in the middle of it.
Right.
But the thing is, recently, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Lego was supposed to release some Overwatch sets. They were like set to release. And they were like, in light of all the shit that's happened recently, we're going to hold back on that. Maybe until they figure their shit out. And that's the thing. I think as a company, and again, the cynic in me could go, okay, but how much do you stand to lose just by making that statement? Maybe it's just good free PR for you. But at the same time, I'm glad that Lego said that, and I hope that other companies that work with or partner with Activision Blizzard make statements like that and go, hey, get your shit together, because why are we working with you otherwise?
Right. Oh, man, you mean I can't sexually harass people anymore? Man.
Oh, come on, business is business. It was just a few guys, and by a few guys, I mean literally the people who run the company and the CEO. Right. So, yeah. So that, I didn't like that too much. And again,
how do these people get in power? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's how they stay in power, because people keep looking in the other way, and it's money at one point, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like it.
Anyways, off of that icky news and on to some Nintendo stuff, the Switch.
Oh, baby.
The Nintendo Switch is breaking records. It has recently exceeded sales of 101.88 million units, shattering the sales records of the lifetime of the Wii.
I'm out here like, y'all ain't got a Switch yet? God damn.
Most people do, it sounds like. 101 million units? Holy shit. That's a lot. That really is a lot. That's a third of the population of this country alone. That's a lot. Now, in other Nintendo news, Mario Kart 9 is rumored to be in active development. Have you heard anything about this?
Oh, yeah. I've been
yeah, industry analysts are buzzing. People are saying it could be teased this year. There are claims that there's supposed to be some sort of new twist, which to me doesn't seem like much of a claim. There's always a new twist with Mario Kart. That's kind of a shtick, you know?
Right.
But they're saying maybe it's going to be like Nintendo Kart, and they'll bring in a bunch of different franchises like they do with Smash Brothers. And I'm like,
that'd be cool.
Didn't Mario Kart already do that? They had Zelda, they had Animal Crossing characters, they had Splatoon characters. I don't think it's too big of a leap to do something like that, but it would be cool. I'd like to see stages themed after all those worlds and have more different Nintendo characters. I wouldn't even need all the third-party characters, because, I mean, it's just a racing game, so it's aesthetic more than anything else, but it would be cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see racing levels themed after Kirby, stuff like that. That'd be neat.
Yeah. I mean, Mario Kart 8 is already pretty much the perfect kart racing game.
Yeah, and it still sells like you wouldn't believe. Like the fact
it's
that
still like #1 on like UK sales charts.
Yes,
like this year.
There really is no reason to make another Mario Kart unless they do make it super different, so that way it can kind of stand apart from Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, just like I wouldn't even know where they would go with another Smash Bros.
Yeah. No, I think eventually one will be made, and we'll see what does happen with it. But I think there needs to be a significant leap in either the gameplay or the technology in a newer Smash title. Because if it's the same level of iteration from Brawl to Smash 4 or from Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate, not needed.
Yeah, because that's like, Smash is not something that you can just reboot. For instance, with Mortal Kombat. After Mortal Kombat Armageddon, they were just like, okay, that was a bit much. Mortal Kombat 9 we're gonna bring it back down a little bit. We're gonna cut the roster a little bit, and it worked. But you can't cut the roster on Smash like that.
No, not exactly.
Yeah,
not exactly.
Nah. But
Mario Kart, again, if you do, there needs to be some significant changes to gameplay. There needs to be a bit of an evolution to it, so to speak. I think they have it in them to do that. But again, if Smash Ultimate ends up being the last Smash game that we get, what a way to go out.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to go
amazing.
out. All right.
Sora.
Speaking of rumors, this is where it was great. You called it. That was your pick.
Yeah.
You called it. Good job. But yeah, speaking of rumors, I also recently saw that Fire Emblem could be dropping this year from the same team that made Three Houses.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that seems legit because Fire Emblem came out, what, 2017?
I think so. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So
it came out the first year that the Switch came out?
Maybe it was 2018.
Yeah, or 19 maybe.
No, I think it was 19. Hell, I don't know.
I don't know.
I wish I had some sort of
device came out a little while
ago. I could
ago.
confirm this.
Right.
If only. But I don't care that much, or I probably would Google it. The thing is, it's a rumor, so it could be true, it could not be true. I really still want my Fire Emblem Warriors game. If they drop that a month before it releases, like they did with Hyrule Warriors 2, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're we are working on it, but it's a fucking Warriors game. Woo!
Yeah, it came out in 2019.
It did? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think it was my game of the year that
Almost
year, too.
3 years ago. 3 years, 3 houses.
Kirby.
Oh, love Kirby.
Kirby 30 years. Kirby is celebrating his 30th anniversary this year, and Nintendo is calling an audible on celebrations to be kicking off pretty soon. What we have learned recently in regards to his upcoming game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, via a new gameplay trailer, is there's going to be co-op.
Yeah.
Yes, which is super awesome. So it sounds like we'll be playing that if I can get you online.
Oh, yeah.
The release date is March 25th.
Okay.
And
awesome.
It's compatible with Amiibo.
Nice.
So I'm either going to be getting some new Amiibo, or all the Kirby Amiibo I have will be getting some use.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up pretty soon.
And Meta Knight was in it.
Yeah, Meta Knight showed up. Which, I mean, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
So, all right, the last bit of news. This is very funny. So recently, and I saw this on Twitter, 2 LAPD officers were fired after they failed to respond to the report of a robbery in progress. Do you want to guess what they were doing?
They was playing games, weren't they?
They were playing Pokemon Go. They were trying to catch a Snorlax, and I think they ran across a Togetic as well. So this is from the transcript they pulled from the court appeal or the sentencing. I don't know. It says, for approximately the next 20 minutes, the DICVS, which is the in-car recording for their squad car, captured petitioners, those are the cops, discussing Pokemon as they drove to different locations where the virtual creatures apparently appeared on their mobile phones. This is in court, y'all. On their way to the Snorlax location, Officer Mitchell alerted Officer Lozano, that's a Togetic just popped up, noting it was on Crenshaw, just south of 50th.
It's a Togetic on Crenshaw.
I mean, yeah, like there's a robbery over here, but south of 50th, there's a Togetic. Now, what the officer said, the officers denied playing a video game. They claimed they were merely having a conversation about Pokemon Go, and Officer Mitchell had been receiving text messages and alerts from a Pokemon Go players group where people were bragging about their scores. Detective McClanahan determined the cops were not being truthful. Detective McClanahan's been playing Pokemon Go for 6 years. You're not going to pull the wool over his eyes.
Right.
I love that gaming has become so ubiquitous that you can't even bullshit older people who wouldn't normally be gamers. Because that sounds like some shit like, oh, Mom, we weren't playing games. We were just talking about games.
Come on, man.
I can't believe they pulled that. And then when that didn't work, this wasn't on the tweet that I saw, but I heard about it later on. They also tried to say that their speech is protected because it was a private conversation and it can't be used. And of course that was overturned as well. They're like, nah, you're fired. So
interesting that they were fired for that. Yeah,
I was literally just going to say, it's interesting. So you can shoot as many black people as you want, but if you try to catch a Snorlax, you're going to catch
your
a case.
ass. Right. Try to get your Snorlax, that's your ass, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're fired. So it turns out. So, I mean, next time the cops start harassing you, just pull out your phone and go, hey, there's a Snorlax 10 blocks away. That might save your life. All right. We have a listener question this week, which I think would be a good place to wrap up. We did a pretty decent episode this week.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think so. All right. Now, I thought this was interesting. Shandon B. writes in and asks, what do you guys typically do with create a character options? Do you always pick certain options or make certain characters? What is your preference when creating characters for a new game?
Okay. I can answer this question with one word.
Okay.
Black.
I figured.
It's black. You're going to be black, blackity, black, black. Can I make them black? Yes. Okay, they're going to be black. That's pretty much it. That's all I look for. Like,
is black an option? Yes or no? Yes, black. If no,
like
closest.
Like maybe like a little scar on the face or something to make me look a little edgy. But like with my Monster Hunter Stories character, I made him super dark, and it didn't even like fit. You can tell that the character's not meant to be black, and that's the issue with most of the character creators, that you can tell that most of the
features are Anglo.
We talked about that. Yeah, they're not meant to be black. They're Anglo. And it's just, but I don't care. I'm going to make him black. Commander Shepard, black. Although I played as Default Shepard. But I don't know. Default Shepard, I might maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I played as FemShep this most recent time I'm playing Mass Effect because I never played as FemShep before, and which is a weird term. FemShep. It makes it sound like the male is default. I don't know if that was ever actually the case. Plus, the voice actor for the Lady Shepherd, much better. Jennifer Hill, much better. But I always play as the guy because that's more role playing. I think I was playing as this is embarrassing to admit. I was playing as Obama. You have to remember when these games came out, and it was a different time. But yeah, I played as the Commander-in-Chief, Commander Shepard. Anyways, this time around, I played Lady Shepard, and I did make her black. But my whole thing with creative characters recently, when it comes to the creative characters, if I can't make a specific type of character, which I'll go into in a second, if it is white male options, I'll make them like me. If it's a kid character, I'll try to make them brown and more like Ben. And if it's a lady, I'll make her black and more like my wife. So I'll try to role play as like myself or my family if I can, to kind of have a personal connection to the character. But if possible, and I've done this on a lot of games, if character creation is really robust, I'll try to make one of my favorite anime or literary characters. So I've made a lot of characters based off of Guts from Berserk. Like complete with putting a scar over their nose, maybe closing one of their eyes if that's an option. You know what I mean? Yeah. Give them like spiky anime hair. Or Drizzt, Jordan. Like if I could do, I've done that in Skyrim a lot. I'll play as a dark elf named Drizzt. Use like twin scimitars. I'm trying to think of who else.
You know what? Yeah. You know what game had a great character creator?
What's that?
Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it was 3 or 4 that you could like get really crazy. Like you could make characters from other video games, and they looked like big, muscly, weird versions of your
Some
characters.
of them were spot on.
But yeah, I remember those days. And I know they continued that trend with 6 because I would see so many people creating characters from other video games in Soul Calibur 6. I just thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, Shannon, if you want to have a fun time, which asking this question, you probably already done this, go on YouTube and just search Soul Calibur, create a character, and like see the different characters that people made, because there's all kinds of compilations out there. Some really creative stuff. It's really cool.
Love it.
So yeah, no, I do like to make certain characters, and my preference just depends on the game, the options available to me, and if I'm playing a man, a woman, or a child. So that type of thing. Good question. Good. All right, well, I think that's a show.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2 just started. And the opening is fucking fire. Yeah. It's a banger, and I had to say it. So if you watch Attack on Titan, you know what I'm talking about. If you say the opening is not dope, you're lying to yourself. I don't care. Actually, Mike, I want you to listen to it after we get off.
Okay.
I know you have no like connection to it.
We're listening to it right now, actually.
Are we?
I put it into this conversation in post. It's playing in the background right now. Can you feel it? Can you feel it in your heart?
I can feel the rumbling. It's coming.
All right, well, I think we should go to commercial break now. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And we're back. To close it out, Derek, back once again this week to tell everybody where they can get the gamer, the goodies, the more. Where can they find you at?
Yeah, so if this is your first time listening to us, I am a online eBay reseller. I also sell on Amazon. But you can check out my eBay store at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. I sell video games, electronics, toys, vintage toys, all types of stuff. It's awesome. Matter of fact, I just picked up a GameCube today with like 12 games, and Mario Kart Double Dash was in the GameCube.
Noise.
It was fucking awesome. I'm on Instagram at GamerGoodiesMore, and I'm on Twitter at goodies_more. Make sure you check out the eBay page. Come on, guys. I know that you're listening. Check it out. Help a brother out. I got mouths to feed, and that's pretty much it. I got mouths. I got bills to pay, y'all. Come on. Y'all know y'all want this shit.
You heard the man. If you're looking for gamer goodies and more, it doesn't hurt to check it out. Doesn't even hurt to reach out and go, hey, what can you do about this this situation with this Pokemon plushie? I really want it. Let's bargain. Let's talk.
And everything's 15% off from $20 to $100.
Oh, yeah, so. All right. That's excellent, actually. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, don't forget, y'all, we upload new episodes to our hub at anchor.fm/player2is_the-pod every single Sunday. But our podcast will also be available on other platforms, including Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can find us on all the social medias, tiktok.com/@player2is_the-pod, facebook.com/player2is_the-pod, YouTube, player2is_the-podcast. The way these subscriptions are coming up, we may be able to get our own unique URL on YouTube someday. That'll be nice. You can comment, like, follow, subscribe. All of that really helps us out. If you want to super help us out, we've got a patreon.com/player2is_the-pod. You can contact us there or by emailing us at mcpaperstacks@gmail.com if you have listener questions, guest suggestions, feedback, etc. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show.
Ooh, baby, it feels good to be back.
I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah.
This is therapy for me every week.
Yes.
Just
I'm glad
catching
everybody
up and
gets to hear my
chatting shit.
Silky, sultry voice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Peace.